Welcome to 13 Minutes of Gig News. In 13 minutes, or what? That's right. So, two stories that I hope we can get to both today. Last week we got to one. Let's see if we can get to both today. So, first story, there's a video up on the channel if you guys want to watch it. I actually have the footage on the video too. You guys might have heard the story, but the YouTube creator who was a prankster and was in the mall in Virginia. I think it was outside Dulles. But they got into a confrontation. They were trying to start things with random people in the mall, inside of a shopping mall. And they started it with the Dasher. There was a Doordasher in there picking up some food. It's really interesting to watch this video because there's so many different takes on this thing, and it's completely strange. Being a rideshare driver for years and working in bars for years and whatnot, I get wanting to be secure. I get wanting to feel safe. But there were two people that it's a YouTube channel, and actually his channel is up and running again. He now he's running videos again. But what happened was, he got in, if you haven't seen it, he got into the Doordasher's face, and you're not hearing the words, but he keeps he's a big guy, he keeps kind of shoving the phone in the Dasher's face. And in the mall, as the Dasher is stepping away from the counter, from getting the food, he kind of gives him that last shove of the thing. And it's this is where I feel like it's weird, because if you watch the footage slow, the Dasher's carrying the food really oddly, like he almost knew like he was going to have to do this. And he's walking away, and as he's walking away, he pulls out a gun and shoots the YouTuber in the stomach in a mall, inside mall. And this isn't like an open air mall, or this is inside of a mall. I get, if you're threatened, the right to defend yourself. I get that. I get the right to carry a weapon. I get that safety comes first. I get that you need to protect yourself. I've watched this video about 50 times, and I'm torn. I am torn. I'm not saying he was right or wrong. Personally, after watching it about 50 times, again, I get it. And there were two people. The one guy that was getting in his face was a lot bigger than him. However, the thing about him walking away is really weird to me, because it seems like you'd be head on like you would have turned and maybe dropped the food even, or something, if it's going to come to that. He's still holding the food, and he's walking away, and he pulls the gun and just shoots him in the stomach. Point blank range. The guy goes in the hospital. The guy gets out of the hospital, and he's now creating YouTube content again. And one thing that really bothered me, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. There's a video on the channel. You guys can't miss it. But the mother of the YouTuber who got shot said, even after all this and after he's out of the hospital, she's saying she supports him and whatever he wants to do. And, I'm a little torn on that part too, because that mom shouldn't, she probably, if the kid's old enough, he can do what he wants, but she shouldn't be openly, publicly supporting anything that led to this, because his channel this is what he does. And these pranksters are going way too far. I used to think this was just like a TikTok thing, and maybe it would be short-lived. I don't think it's going to be short-lived. I think that, in fact, I think these are getting worse and worse and worse. It was just a couple weeks ago we were talking about these people who are not stealing. Well, again, a very controversial issue, that they're moving cars in parking lots. If somebody leaves a car running, they go move it and hide it. To me, that's stealing the car, and you're gonna, be careful, because somebody might have a gun and might shoot you for getting in their car. These pranks, or whatever these people on YouTube and TikTok are thinking, I don't get it. There's all kinds of different ways to make and grow a TikTok channel on crazy things even, but this is getting crazy, crazy, crazy. And look at this guy. He gets shot. He's now already creating again. By the way, the guy who shot him inside of a mall was acquitted of the charges. He did have one charge land on him about something about the gun in public or inside of the mall, or I can't, bottom line is I really don't care too much about what the one thing that he was charged on, because it was like out of the 5 charges, it was like the littlest one, which means an entire jury saw his side of it. And I would love to see I would watch that whole court case to see what happened and exactly what was said that convinced an entire jury, hey, let's just acquit this guy. Because he did shoot him point blank range into the stomach. So, was he right? I don't know, because we really don't hear the words. The more and more I watch it, it's not 3 a.m. in an alley coming out of a bar like I've done many times. It's not rideshare at 4 a.m. Dealing with the drunks who can't get anywhere, and you're going weird places, and they called a ride for a buddy, so it's not even them, so you have a concern, and they get into the car on the driver's side and sit right behind you at 4 a.m. These are weird things where I can see maybe you're more on guard to have that gun and have it ready. It doesn't matter. This guy has the right to protect himself. I would ask for all of you, if you've seen it, please comment in the show notes what you think. Was the guy right, or was it overkill? And I really would like to know, was it right or was it overkill? Because I just would like to hear your opinions, because I'm torn. I get that he has the right to do it. We haven't been privy to hear the whole testimony from court yet, and the articles coming out aren't really reading exactly what happened in court. So we don't know. We just know he was acquitted of all these charges. In a mall, there's kids, there's this, that, the other, and he's pulling out a gun, shooting a guy at point blank range who didn't have a weapon. So, if it was just verbal assault, okay, I don't know. Again, I would love to hear what you guys have to think, because maybe that'll help me wrap my head around it. The other thing, and we gotta hit this quick, but you guys, on the round table, you guys can go listen to it. We talked about this. Cruise Autonomous and Waymo, and I think there's a third one in San Francisco that's running right now too. There's 3 cities that are live right now. There's Austin, Texas, there is San Francisco, and there's Phoenix, Arizona. Those all have unmanned driverless cars, autonomous, that by all standards, by all metrics, do not meet the safety requirements of an autonomous vehicle to be on the road without a person. This is baffling to me. So we knew that the governor of California, Newsom, he made a deal about let's talk about San Francisco, because that's what this story is. He made a deal to have these autonomous vehicles in San Francisco. Clearly, a lot of money gets funneled in if you allow these vehicles. So they only come out at night. I think they roll out about 8 p.m. and they have specific routes they can take. Now, people are doing drugs in them. They're having sex in them now. It's a whole nightmare. But the fire department, the police department, the fire chief, the police chief, the mayor of San Francisco for months have been screaming to get these things out of the city, that they are a hazard, a nightmare, that they're causing problems, they're causing accidents, everything and everything. They're just not ready. They're not road ready. And we know we're not there. But the live testing thing is just baffling to me. Like, why would we do this? So this is an odd story. So a pedestrian is so there's a walkway. A pedestrian is crossing the street outside of the walkway. And it's a 3 or 4 lane road. And as they come across the street, a car, so they're almost, they're crossing the street, and a car coming this way clips them with what would be the passenger side door. This car has a driver in it. So kind of like bumps them with the mirror kind of thing and pushes them into the other lane. So they're still kind of standing, but, not really. They've been knocked into the other lane. But that car takes off. Now there's a Cruise Autonomous, driverless, in that other lane that the person was knocked into. The Cruise Autonomous hits the person, rolls over them, and stops. Has them pinned under the car. The police, the fire department had to come. They had to use like jacks, jaws of life, wood blocks to get this car up off this person. I don't know her current state. This just happened. And again, now you have the county commissioner who wasn't fully on board before saying, get these things out of this city now. And we already know what happened, or I've already looked into it. So they like having the 3 testing cities. They're about to lose San Francisco. San Francisco's had it. And even though the governor made the decision, having the mayor, the fire chief, the police chief, and now the county commissioner all on the side of get these things out of here, they have to go. So one of the cities that uses drivers in these autonomous vehicles is Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte will be going to driverless. They will be taking over what San Francisco's done. So they're basically moving the program from San Francisco to Charlotte, North Carolina, and saying, clearly Charlotte gets money, the city gets money for this, but it puts the citizens at danger. So again, please comment in the comments below. Should Autonomous be testing live with people without drivers in them, without safety drivers, when we know 100% the cars do not operate at a level that is safe on a day-to-day basis? And there's so many variables. By the way, guys, just so you know, these cars learn. So it's like with age, they get more intelligent, but that's not something you can pass on to the next car. Each car has to learn. So what do we know about cars? As they get older, they die. So this is getting very, very messed up. I'm afraid we're going to start to see it in more and more and more cities. I believe that this all is just wrong. There's other ways to go about this, but they're trying to get ahead of themselves, and we're just not there. We're just not there. But please leave in your comments on either of the, or both. If you're feeling it, put them both in. How you feel about these 2 stories and what your thoughts are. And that's 13 minutes of news in 13 minutes or less. Later, guys.